Welcome to the Rooted Lounge, where we break down the 3 core relationships that shape everything about your life as a mom: your relationship with yourself, your partner, and your kids. We're Monica and Michelle, therapists turned mom coaches, and we know firsthand that motherhood isn't just diapers and to-do lists. It's an identity shift that touches every part of who you are. This ain't your mama's motherhood. Here, we mix real mom talk, a little humor, and a lot of truth to help you feel more grounded, connected, and fully alive in your life as a mom. So grab your coffee, hide in the bathroom if you have to, and let's get into today's conversation.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rooted Lounge. We're so happy you are here. We are on episode 3, super stoked. We had a pretty fun-filled week, packed with a lot of things. So it's nice to be here and a little bit more rooted than our week has been / weekend. I was solo parenting for, most of the week. Monica had a lot of different events going on. So it's going to be great to sit here and just kind of chat about things that have to do with our relationships today, which will be really great. So I think where we're going to start off is talking about how our relationship changes pretty significantly once we have children, and specifically that nobody tells you how much it actually changes, and really until you're in it. And I think this is part of the problem, right? Like, everybody tells you everything's going to change, and then they don't tell you what actually changes. Like, they tell you, oh, you're not going to get sleep, or, like kids, change your schedule, right? Like, kind of more like surface level. But I don't know if I was ever really told, like, things in your relationship are really going to be different, and how do you navigate that, which is obviously the most important part, right? Yeah. Like, how do we navigate the changes in our relationship?
Right. Well, and I think that's the thing, is that even if someone does tell you it's going to change, like the relationship specifically, it's almost just like, well, this is a part of the change.
Right.
So you just have to kind of go through it.
Yeah, you got to push through it.
Yeah. Because I do remember people saying, like, make sure that you prioritize, it was more like date nights, right?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Make sure you have someone watch the baby so that you can go out and whatever.
Yeah.
Or even like go out as a family. Like, you don't always have to go out just the two of you, like you can still do things together as a family. But that was it. Like,
nothing else.
No, not at all. So so today we want to talk about how motherhood changes your relationship and how we both navigated ours.
Yeah.
So where do you want to start with this? Because I feel like we can, well, what just popped in my head was, it was the very first week that we were home with our oldest. So I'll start with that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's like loaded, right? Like, and it doesn't like those are like the hard days, but I feel like it gets harder in a lot of different ways, unless you're
different ways.
Unless you're paying attention to it, right? This totally can just slip.
One of my very, very first memories of exactly this, of how your relationship changes after kids, is the very first week of being home with our new baby. I honestly think I woke up like in a panic. And the very first thing that came to mind was how much I missed my husband. And we were together, like, he was right there next to me. But
that's a good one.
I literally was just in this complete panic of, like, that was like my oh crap moment. Like, things have changed, because
pretty quickly too.
He is right here with me. We're doing this together. Like, so physically he's there, and he's involved in everything. But I was like, whoa, our lives have turned upside down now.
Mm.
And I remember feeling this like longing for him and like, wow, our relationship has officially changed. Like this, we just got the rug pulled out from under us and things are different now.
Yeah. And it's not like the end, obviously, right? It's a matter of shifting how you work within that relationship with your partner, and maybe not necessarily being able to identify how to do that in that moment. I mean, you know, especially the first week or months or, you know, first year.
Yeah.
But that is really powerful to like understand that that's happening, and then know that it doesn't have to continue in that way, and even in a short period of time, right? Because so much shifts.
Yeah. And like, I don't know what my next thoughts were after that. I was just so like, I was like slapped in the face with this feeling of like, oh my God, things have changed.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if you sat with that for a while.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Most women do.
And yeah, I mean, that was like 10 plus years ago. So I don't totally remember. But yeah, I think that was definitely the point where I was like, oh man, we have to be very intentional here because it's only been the two of us. We have gotten to know each other so well since, you know, we started our relationship, and it's only been us. Now there's another person that's involved in our relationship that benefits and, you know, is hindered possibly by our relationship, and we have to be very, very mindful about us.
One of the things that really shifted for us, and really, I mean, this probably shifts for most people, is that idea of spontaneity. I mean, you could do what you want when you wanted. Any moment of time. Like, yes, you had your responsibilities, you had your, you know, your house, your apartment, you were wherever you're living, you have your job, right? Like, you still had those things, but you could make plans at the drop of the hat. So that spontaneity, and I've heard this from a lot of moms, particularly, that is something that was really challenging, especially if you were that person that kind of was like, oh, you know, my friends want to do this night, or I don't know, you know, really a vacation, a weekend away, like a date night, like more simple, right?
You can't just get up and go.
No.
Like, you have to have a plan around things.
That was really challenging for me, for sure, because me and my husband were very much those people who just went, but it was also really important for us to still have that. And that was like a conversation that we had before we had my son, that we wanted to still do things. We just had to obviously do them in a different way, kind of as I mentioned. But not just spontaneity. I mean, anything that has to kind of do with like fun, even if it's not spontaneous, right? Like, even if you're planning a trip, what does that look like with kids? Date nights, like we mentioned, intimacy, but intimacy of all kinds. I mean, not just.
Yeah, when we talk about, at least when I use that word intimacy, I'm not just talking about sexual intimacy. I'm talking about emotional and mental intimacy as well. Which I think that in itself really helps to broaden the scope of like connection. Intimacy is not just about sexual stuff.
And that's where our brains tend to just gravitate towards. But I mean, communication, talking is intimacy.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think on the subject of like spontaneity, the thing that comes to mind for me is just that when it comes to sexual intimacy, where you know, I've worked with a lot of clients over the years who are, it's typically the guys who are more resistant to planning and to scheduling and to, you know, carving out time to do things, whether it is, sexual intimacy or just to go have fun and whatever. It's like, no, like I just want to go and I want to go with the flow and whatever. But that, I think, is one of the biggest things that changes, that a lot of people are resistant to after kids, is like, I don't want to have to map out my whole life. But then I think, well, what's the alternative if you don't?
Yeah,
like,
right. It's really feeling like roommates, really.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, oh, well, it'll happen someday. We're probably going to say that.
That's what I was just going to say.
So much. It'll happen someday. I mean, we'll talk about this with, all the core relationships that we talk about. And really, I mean, even just working on yourself and healing and all of these things, like, it's always, oh, this will work itself out. We'll be spontaneous someday again. And then so much time goes by. And then your roommates, you don't actually have intimacy. You don't have a relationship. Like, again, not like it was before, but not even this new found connection of parenthood and even just what your relationship means now that you are parents. I mean, there's so many levels to that.
Yeah. And I think what you just made me think of was how, again, going back to what I said about how you only know each other up until the point that you bring a child into your home and into your relationship, that it's about how our identities shift as individuals because we are now parents. And now you are not just, I'm not just your wife anymore, or I'm not just, your friend anymore, or whatever it is. Like, I am also your co-parent. Like, I am your, yes, to an extent, I am your roommate. I am your everything. Like, we manage our lives together. We coexist, we cohabitate, but now we are raising a child together. And that really brings the dynamic to another level. And it can bring it to a challenging level because that's when you learn that you might not agree on a lot of things, on how you want to raise your children together. Hopefully you had some of those conversations.
And even if you did,
it's so,
And I mean, I'm sure you've come across this. I definitely have, where it's like, yes, hoping that you've had the conversation about how you're going to do that. And then you're in it and you're like, why are we doing things so differently? Even though we've always wanted kids, obviously we wanted this, we wanted that. Our values have been the same, but yet how we function on a day-to-day basis is just so different.
Yeah. How that actually shows up in real life.
In a day-to-day.
Yeah. Because you can talk about these things before having kids, but until you're in it, that theory might not pan out. It might not be something that you can actually, put into reality.
Absolutely.
So,
which is like that challenge between, like, okay, have a plan, and your plan might go to shit.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And you keep just having to readjust, tweak things, like continue to
constantly
pivot. And again, I think this is where a lot of couples struggle, is that there is so much resistance to being flexible. It's like, well, we've always done it this way, or this is how we are, as a team of two. But guess what? Now you're a team of three or a team of four, and so on and so forth. And you continue to have to pivot to make room for the things that have changed. Because if you don't move with the change, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah. And so many things are going to happen if you don't do that, right? I mean, we're going to talk about resentment, arguments, loneliness, feeling unseen, feeling unprioritized, feeling like you're doing everything. I mean, I probably could go on and on and on and on.
All the things.
All of the things. And it just kind of made me think about, and I don't know if any of our viewers have seen these videos, but I've seen a few videos where you unfortunately it's specifically like they're asking like the male partner, but hey, I'm sure it probably happens the alternative way too, but these are just the videos that I'm seeing. And they ask like how are you gonna like kind of put in order your kids, your mom, and your wife. And I mean, the wife often came second or third, or the partner came second or third, right? And I think we talked about in our last episode, or even maybe our first one, that like, of course, like our children are going to be one of our highest priorities. But if we're constantly thinking that your partner is second or even third, I mean, how much kind of deteriorates when they're not more equal. And maybe equal isn't the right word because it's never going to be equal, but kind of like on that same like playing field, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to elaborate on that, but
yeah, I mean, this makes me think of exactly what Rooted Motherhood is about, right? Where, you know, visually, if you think of a tree, like your family is the tree, and the roots of that tree is your relationship. That's you and your partner. You are the ones that everything, you know, grows out of or from. And your kids are the branches. So if those roots are not strong, if they are not well hydrated and soiled and you know, getting enough sunlight and all those things, if it's not getting all of that TLC, things will break down.
Sorry, my microphone headphone fell off.
So yeah, I think that is a huge, I don't know if it's a misconception or what, but people do often think, and I think we did say it in a previous episode, that, you know, I think we were talking specifically about moms, how moms are like, oh, I don't have to worry about myself. Like my kids come first. And I think oftentimes moms will even say like, no, my kids come before my husband. And
totally.
And like, we have to rethink this, guys, you know, because this, if you think about it, again, thinking of a tree, doesn't it make sense? Like you and your partner, your spouse are the roots, and nothing good is going to come from anything if you aren't taking care of
if you're not nurturing
that relationship.
Yeah.
Yes, nurture. That's a perfect word for it.
Yep.
So
and really paying attention to the fact that our society and our culture has also made it this way. So if we continue on this path of putting our relationship with our partner and the relationship with ourselves last, what's going to happen? I mean, and this is an extreme example, but really over time, I mean, our divorce rate has gone up, right? Like,
and why do you think it tends to happen when the kids are out of the home? You know, whether it's because the kids are going to college or they're just moving out to go live on their own. And then you have two people in a house where you're like, I don't even know who you are anymore, because we have completely distanced ourselves from each other. Even if you are doing life together and fully co-parenting, it absolutely happens where people are like, I don't know you as my husband anymore. I don't know you as my wife anymore. I don't know you as my partner anymore, because we were not maintaining our relationship. We were only interacting with each other as co-parents. And that's it. So, were there any specific moments that you can recall where you felt like disconnected?
Oh yeah.
Any you want to share with our audience?
Well, I think my whole experience with having a child who is medically compromised and in the NICU for so long, I mean, I talked about it last episode where I was just in autopilot, and obviously that affected our relationship. But it's interesting because it affected our relationship. And sometimes I can't really actually articulate how, because we didn't have a child at home for 5.5 months, right?
Yeah.
So like, we still went out. We still went on dates. Like we were in Boston, and we would go visit our son, and then we would like go out to dinner. And now, was it wrapped around grief and fear and sorrow and all of those things?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So maybe actually, now that I'm talking about it out loud, maybe that's where it was. The disconnect was, it wasn't like this like feel good intimacy, fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, we were
surface level.
Yeah, it was very surface level, because
Mm-hmm.
we're feeling this sense of like, I don't know, grief. I already said that, but like, we didn't know what the future held, so we were trying to stay in the moment, and I think we did a really good job, and it did bring us closer together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, it was when he got home. That was when I felt the most disconnected, because I was the one who changed so much of my life. I mean, I wasn't working full time anymore. Again, owning your own practice, like luckily I was able to do that. You know, like we were in this space where I was able to do that. But even if I wasn't, even if I worked a 9 to 5, something had to give, right? Like my son couldn't go to daycare because he was so medically compromised.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first month we were home, we had like 30 something appointments, and that didn't like get any better for the first like year.
Yeah.
And so that is where we both, because I mean, he's even said it too, like that is where we felt the most disconnected, that even though we tried to do it and we did it often, we felt so emotionally disconnected, I guess, from one another.
Yeah.
Because all of our conversations were wrapped around him and his survival, and what are we going to do? We can't really plan for, 3 months from now, because we don't know how he's going to do, right? Like, and really that was from the beginning. So we had really good communication, but it's not one particular incident. But
Yeah.
I honestly think that it's been more challenging as my son has gotten older, which sounds crazy. Like you would think, being in the heart of being an autopilot and in trauma, really, that it would have been more difficult. I actually think it's sometimes more difficult now when I feel disconnected from him.
Why do you think that is?
Because I know we have the time and the space to put the energy there, like, and our lives are more settled, I guess. So I think like I visualize it, and I'm like, okay, we're not on autopilot anymore. We're not in trauma mode. Our son is doing great. Yes, am I still the one who, runs him to appointments, and I'm still not working full time? Yes, totally. But I find that it happens more with the invisible load now than it did then. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you think you can, or what has helped you turn the corner with that disconnect?
A lot of conversations, like a lot. Actually, something that we just did this year, and it was awesome, and I'm so glad that we did this. Right before the beginning of the year, we actually went to Boston for a night, 2 nights. We got a hotel room, just the two of us. My son was, I don't know, with an in-law or my parents or something. And we made the decision that we were going to kind of like, it was almost like a business meeting, not like really, but like we had a ton of fun. We went out to like, we got food, we explored, like we did all the things, but we sat down in a coffee shop for like, we went to a coffee shop, and we went to actually the Boston Public Library, which is beautiful, by the way. Never been in there until that day. And we kind of just like mapped out our entire year. Like we specified, okay, what are the obligations we have? Okay. And then like, obviously there was so much more to it, but nothing was like necessarily a surprise come this year.
Yeah.
And like and not just logistics, because again, logistics can feel like roommate, but we talked about the emotional piece too, like what we needed from each other, because at that point, I would say like my son had really turned a corner and like didn't have as many appointments, and like it could feel more equal, I guess. So I told him, I was like, this is what I need from you, and this is what I want for each other, like each of us.
Yeah.
And that's included like date nights, us going away. We actually, before the end of last year, we went to Nashville for 5 days, which was the longest we had been away in 2 years. That was our first actual trip post honeymoon. And we made sure that we planned that for this year. Like, we're like, okay, we're going away. How can we do this?
Yeah.
Who's going to watch our kid? Like, and all of those things. So I'd say that's like the first example that came to mind, and I'm sure I could spew out 100 other ones, but communication has really been the end all be all for us.
I mean,
and not just logistic wise. Like, we're not just communicating about what are we doing today, or what are we doing this weekend, or what do we have planned in 5 months. It's like, I'm struggling. Like, I need your help, and this is how I need it. And being okay with what the other person like needs. Yeah. Picking up the slack, whatever that looks like. Yeah. Right.
No, I think you hit it right there. And it's absolutely not about what you're doing. It's about how you're doing it.
Yep.
So sure, go on date nights. We're definitely not saying to not do date nights, but we're saying to, again, be very deliberate with how you're doing things. So I also remember, early on going out to eat and, doing date nights, and what were the conversations?
All about your kids.
All about the baby, and how tired we were, and, all of that stuff.
Yeah,
and
no connection. It's still connected to your children.
Yeah. And I mean, I think, some of that is expected, because it's like, okay, yes, our focal point right now is the baby and all that stuff. So it's like, no, I'm not watching shows, so we can't talk about, a show or whatever it is. But I think that is absolutely the biggest thing. And something now that me and my husband do is the communication is like on point, but that's taken time to get to that point.
Sure.
But
and really, in my opinion, and I think on a healing level too, like, that has to be your number one goal. But
no. And then again, just being intentional. Yeah. That is like, that's it. That is the secret. That is the key, is being intentional. And I think, sometimes people want these grand, elaborate, detailed strategies and techniques, and that's it. Just be intentional. Like, I can be kind of in my head walking by, with the laundry basket, but in that moment, maybe before getting to that point, I would have thought like, oh, I want to stop and give him a hug. But then I just keep going, because whatever, I just got swept away by the activity or task that I was doing. So I didn't. And I missed out on a really great opportunity, because I could have very easily just put that basket down and said, hey, come over here,
Definitely.
So it's little things like that. It's like, for us, every night we're watching a show right now. So we're like, we are watching that show every night and binging it.
We're literally the same way.
But like, before we started watching this current show, we would always, every night, like after dinner or sometime during dinner, we'd be like, all right, so what's the plan tonight? And then, either I would say, oh, I have XYZ things to do. And he would say, yeah, I could do something, but, if we do, if we decide to hang out instead, then like I could do this other thing tomorrow. Or I'd be like, well, no, I have like a deadline, like I need to get this thing done. And I'm like, okay, sweet. So we'll plan to do this tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Yep. Like that's it. It can be that simple.
Yeah. Right. Like that date night, and just this made me think of it too, is like, obviously it's not date night every night, but like there can be a lot of pressure with like that, like, oh, we have to set up this date night, but it's like, you could do things together in the home, yes. Right? Like it doesn't have to be like, going out and spending money. It just is that connected time with one another that is intentional, right? Like, what are we doing tonight? Okay, is it this? Great. This is what we both decide on. Or maybe it's making your favorite meal together, or drinking a glass of wine, right? Like really, truly, like that is something that you need to kind of be creative with, but
sit on the bed and throw all the clothes that need to be folded and just sit there and talk while you fold clothes together. It doesn't have to be, like a night out where, because we hear that so much, like, oh, well, I don't have reliable childcare or a babysitter, or I don't want, whatever. It's like, you don't need to do those things. It can literally be, a 5-second moment of connection where you're just walking by each other and you graze, his hand or her hand or whatever, you're having dinner together as a family and you just look across the table and make eye contact for like a split second. It's that.
And it's really about slowing yourself down to notice that you need to do these things, because it sounds so simple. And I believe that a lot of social media and people are just like, hey, do this, 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 and this. And we talk about this all the time where, yes, you want to be able to take action and do things. But if you're not slowing yourself down to then think, I want to do this, or I can do this, or we need to do this, right? Like it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And this is something that I've shared with my clients. I have shared this with new moms in my life. I actually was just having a conversation about this with, she's a mom to be, and then another one of my friends had a baby back in May. And something kind of going back to like what really helped us is doing something soon and often. And now this is for like new parents. Mm-hmm. But that was always what I said. If you make it a priority before the baby is even here, that you are going to go out, just the two of you. And again, go out, but not have the responsibility of having to take care of your child for 2 hours or whatever. You do it sooner than later, and you do it often, once a month or whatever. It's just going to be then a part of your routine, right? Where I unfortunately have worked with a ton of clients and, friends and family who they haven't been on a date in a year plus. Yeah. And then again, an intentional date, not just like, whatever, like it being intentional. But even at home, the baby wakes up, the baby has to eat, right? Like things are still interrupted. And I just encourage all of our listeners to be creative on what that looks like. I understand that there are plenty of us out there who don't necessarily have that support to be able to call somebody up, but maybe that one friend can come to your house for 2 hours, or just, I could kind of throw out a whole bunch of examples, but if you want it that bad, you will find a way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, that's it, is like, to be very blunt about it, like, stop making excuses, like, are you going to be tired? Sure. Are you going to be stressed out with all the things that are on your plate? Yeah, maybe. But this is important. Like this matters. And if you don't prioritize it, you're going to regret it.
Yeah.
You know, you are going to regret it. And so really,
because we've heard so much of that, right? Like in plenty of different ways of money and village, and I don't know if any other words can kind of pop into your head, but those are the two that popped into mine. And it can you, and this is just an example, like, do you get a coffee every day? Maybe not, but that was my example that somebody gave to me. Do you get a coffee every day? Yep. Okay, if you get a coffee every day, don't get coffee for a week, and you can hire a babysitter for 2 hours, right? And so yes, does it take thought? For sure. But when people are like, oh, I can't afford that, or I can't do this, I can't do that, it's like, what are you prioritizing that can maybe take that back seat for a second so that you can prioritize something that is really going to make a difference?
Yeah.
Like my coffee, don't get me wrong, I am a coffee snob and I love my lattes, and they are also $9. You know, and so I've shared that example with people who don't necessarily have their parents, their in-laws, or again, any support readily available to them. But we can find a way.
Yeah. And
find a way.
And what comes up as you were saying that was how, I mean, so many people say, like, I want to work out, I just don't have the time. Or I'm too tired by, you know, the end of my day to work out, or whatever it is. And that's something that comes up a lot. It's like,
so
but we're just so tired. Like, you know, at the end of the day, after the kids are in bed, like, I am just so drained, whatever. I get it. Like, believe me, I've been there.
Was this week not exhausting? Yes, pick me.
But it's, again, it's about, like, just take 5 minutes. And honestly, like, it will add up. It will make you feel better. And just like the people who are like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to do the workout. And then they feel great after that. That's it. Like, sometimes you just have to step outside of your comfort zone a little bit, get a little uncomfortable, and it will feel better once you get over that initial hump.
Yes.
And the more and more that you do that, and the more consistent you are with that, it gets easier and easier.
Yeah. We, on social media, I think it was last week, we were talking a lot about mom hacks and how, like, don't get me wrong, I love me a mom hack to make things easier, but it doesn't address the problem, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think the examples we gave were like, you know, a laundry hack or a kid's school lunch hack or whatever. And it's like, yes, those make it easier. And are you still carrying the mental load? Yep. Are you still feeling exhausted? Yep. Right. So like those underlying symptoms are still there, and you can't mom hack your way out of it. Right. And really for your relationship and your partner too, like I could see so many, like, you know, do this and do that. And again, we're all about it. Like we love those things, and it needs to be a deeper conversation. It needs to be addressed in a very different way, because mom hacks, just like coping skills, aren't going to last a long time. The deeper stuff does.
Well, yeah, because
consistency, right? Yeah.
Because the hacks and the strategies, like, those only take you so far. Like, it's just going to, it's, I guess, in some way, it's kind of just like a Band-Aid of sorts. Like, like it's just hitting the surface. Like, we need to go deeper here. We need to, you know, have those very deliberate conversations. We have to talk about, you know, like, yes, even if we do have to strategize with schedules and calendars and routines and whatever else that comes up, like, it's, that will allow you to really expand the depth of the conversations that you're having. Because if you just stay on the surface, like, it's not going to go anywhere.
No.
You know?
And honestly, at some point, they're probably not going to work. Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm kind of going into more of like personal growth, not necessarily with your partner, but if if you keep engaging in these strategies, like, and our loneliness and our guilt and our resentment isn't addressed, that is still going to build, and that Band-Aid is not going to fit any longer, right? Like I've seen it, and that's not just, I've seen it in my own life. I've seen it in our clients. I've seen it friends and family, right? Like we kind of see it all around us. And so part of what we want to give to all of you in this podcast is that emphasis on the deeper piece of it, because we will talk about strategies and tips and all the things that do help, and you have to do the work on that deeper level for it to be able to get easier, to be consistent, right?
Yeah, I think of them as tools.
Yeah.
Like all of those, the hacks, the strategies, like they are tools. And if you think of actual tools like hammers and drills and all those types of things, someone has to actually use the tool.
Yeah. And know how to use them. Yeah.
So
No, that's a great example.
And sure, maybe there's, machines and things that can do stuff, but I'm talking about like an actual person. A tool, a hammer can't just lift itself up and hammer in that nail. Like someone has to do it, and someone has to want to do it, and they have to commit to following through with figuring out how to do it.
Yep.
That's what we're talking about.
Right.
That is the meat and potatoes of
That's a really great metaphor. I love that metaphor.
And I just came up with that right now.
That was fabulous.
Thank you.
I think I'm gonna use that forever, because I'm thinking like, wait a second, like I can pound a nail into wood. I can't build you a house, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it doesn't make me a carpenter,
but I can learn how to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to. So good. That's such a great example.
And I think that this is like a lot of what we offer in terms of the theories, the philosophies, the concepts of what we offer. That's all the deeper stuff. That's a lot of the, past the surface kind of stuff. And I think of, the stuff that we share, in our content, like on Instagram, is more of a little bit of the surface level stuff, where like these are the quick tips and tricks and that sort of thing. But the real, root of what we have to offer is in our programs. And we, given our conversation today about, relationships, we do want to talk a little bit about a really great resource that we have, and that's it's called More Than Roommates. So it's a 4-week reset for couples, and this is all about just wanting to rebuild connection after kids. So
at any point in time, like really, like right after you have a baby, after you have your third baby, after, it's been 10 years, right? Like,
and even, I mean, you can do it preventatively,
for sure.
You can absolutely do that, as it's like a little toolkit for how can we get ahead of what's expected, that our relationship will change. So, we help you kind of map all that stuff out. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, you can visit our Instagram page at beyond.being.mamas and check out we have a link in bio, right? And
all the information is there.
Yeah.
We can also link it to the bottom of here as well, so you kind of have more access if you don't follow us on Instagram, which you should go follow us on Instagram. But yeah, this is like one of our offers that is quick, right? Like it's 4 weeks. It's, self-driven. Thank you.
Yes,
okay. Thank you. Self-paced. I was like, what's the word? Self-driven. So you can go at your own pace. It's only 4 weeks. And really we see that this is something that moms really enjoy kind of hopping into, because it's kind of short and sweet. It doesn't take up a whole lot of your time. And we really go into those deeper concepts. We've again touched on a little bit of it here, but that is where the work is really done.
Yeah. Well, this was a great little chat today.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Love it.
So be sure to keep following along. Make sure you subscribe to our channel here at Rooted Mamas, so you can join us at the Rooted Lounge again.
Awesome. See you all soon.